What's up, you guys? How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. I know I am. So we're talking about the UFC Mexico card that just finished up. First off, in the main card, we had Santiago Luna beat Angel Pacheco or Pacheco. I can't remember his last name. It was a pretty boring decision, nothing crazy. Then Emmanuel Rodriguez kind of just runs through Kevin, which is kind of what everybody thought was going to happen in the first place. But he ran through him, proved that he's a legitimate contender, and people are calling him the straight version of Peyton Talbot. But yeah, a pretty entertaining guy, pretty good striker. I followed him throughout Tough, and he seems like a pretty cool guy. So definitely one of the guys to be on the lookout for, and he is definitely a hot prospect. Then you've got Edgar Chairez beating Felipe. Honestly, it was, I mean, it was sort of close in a way. I don't know. It was an alright fight. It was definitely pretty clear who won, but it wasn't that bad. Now let's actually get into the actual talking, right? The actual breakdowns of fights. Bobby Green comes in and walks down Dan. He walked down Daniel Zahuber, or however you say his last name. He walked him down. I mean, the hood fighting style might really be back, and it's crazy to think that like Bobby Green just got a knockout in 2026. 2026, and Bobby Green just got a knockout after going through probably the worst slump of his entire career, and basically everybody thinking, this is gonna be one of his last fights. Like he's just taking this just to take it. Comes through there and knocks him out. And did it dominantly too. Like he walked through there hands down, didn't care, Bobby Green style, and treated him like he was Jared Gordon. I mean, he literally showed up how he did in UFC 300 against Jim Miller. I don't know why I said Jared Gordon, but pretty crazy. So crazy win for King Green. The hood style, I guess, still works apparently. And maybe 2026 is just his year. After a rough patch and, getting finished, I think in every single fight that he that he lost, um, I mean, it's a very good way to come back. So, heck yeah, very happy for him. Pretty cool guy. So, good win for King Green, Bobby Green, whatever you want to call him. Then next up, we got David Martinez. He pretty much, I wouldn't say a masterclass, right? It was pretty close in the end, but he whooped on Cheeto. I mean, Cheeto at this point of his career, there's just nothing really left, right? You're not gonna beat anybody in that top 10. Just be a gatekeeper. I feel like that's the only thing left for Marlon Vera is to just be a straight up just a gatekeeper. You're not gonna beat anybody. You're not gonna go for the top contender spot. You're not gonna be a title contender ever again unless Sean O'Malley gets the belt back and they say, yeah, sure, let's do a third fight. Even though Cheeto Vera has been diagnosed with cancer and can barely even move and he's senile and blah blah blah. Like let's do it. All right, now then, for the last fight of the night, the fight that pissed off all the Mexican fans. Loner. Can't ever say that guy's name right. I'm not even gonna attempt. He knocks off Brandon Moreno. This is a controversial fight off rip. I can tell you that immediately. Um, Look, man. I think we're getting to the point where the refs and officiating are tired of um, look, man, I think we're getting to a point where the refs and the judges are tired of seeing control against the cage and not counting that as real control. That is basically what happened. So round one goes through. Loner picks apart Brandon Moreno, just kind of schools him for the first round, picking him apart, taking out his leg. Second round, he comes through, drops Moreno, nearly finishes him, and looking very, very good, dominating the fight. Brandon Moreno is not looking like Brandon Moreno. He's looking like the guy who just lost to Tatsuro Taira, which once again, I mean that's not really even a bad loss. But anyways, so you get the point. I mean, masterclass coming in by Loner. And then round three hits, and Loner starts to kind of gas out, and he gets controlled against the cage. Basically, the entire talk of that fight. So round three, I mean, Loner lands a few leg kicks, and then he just controls the fight against. He gets controlled against the cage by Brandon Moreno, and it's like, okay, all right. So we come out in round four, and it's the same thing. This time, however, Herb Dean starts separating them. So he separates them round four. I think twice, or maybe once in round 3 or once in round 4. I don't really remember, but he separates him. Um, and it was just kind of crazy to see, like, okay, we're actually getting separation here. So now I'm thinking that the UFC is really starting to try and fight away against these fence grabbers, like people who just hold each other up against the fence, because nobody wants to see that. You don't have real control. You're not trying to get them to the ground. You're just beating their legs in with knees. And that is basically what Brandon Moreno was doing the entire fight, after round 2, because, he kind of got schooled for the first 2 rounds. So really good performance from Loner. But those last 3 rounds were rough. Round 5 is the same exact thing. Even worse this time. I think that was the largest time that Brandon Moreno got the control. Anyways, really good performance from Loner, and he takes home the W, beating Brandon Moreno in a pretty good fashion. I mean, you got cage controlled, but you didn't get taken down by Brandon Moreno. And I feel like that's an accomplishment. And then not to mention the fact that you basically were just walking through, beating him up the entire first 2 rounds. Like, I feel like that is a really, really good performance for any top young contender. And I was looking at it in the fact that I thought that Brandon Moreno won the fight just because of the control time. If we're actually talking about the fight, obviously Loner won. My whole thought process was Loner really won this fight, but he's about to lose and get screwed over by the judges. And then the judges actually gave it to Loner. So I was very happy to see that, and I hope that we see more of that, where it's more about strikes landed and damage and accuracy compared to just, hey, I had, you know, 5 minutes of control time in our 3 round fight, and I held you up against the clinch, or I held you up against the cage in a clinch, and you did outstrike me a whole bunch, but I got like 3 takedowns, so I think I won the fight, even though I had, once again, 5 minutes of control time, and you kept escaping, and blah blah blah. Like, I hope we're getting out of that. It seems like we're getting out of that. Very good fight card. Brandon Moreno, what's next for him? I don't really know. At this point, he is one of those guys who technically can be a top contender just because the division is kind of weak, but the division is growing. So I feel like Brandon Moreno's probably only got 1 to 3 fights left. So 3 more fights. I say just go ahead and start taking some of those like fights that you just kind of want to see. Like maybe do another young prospect test, and then maybe do a dream match, and fuck it, give us another Figgy match. um, as far as Loner goes, I think he's gonna be a pretty good guy in that division. I don't think he really gets past all of the top stars really. I don't see him beating. Um, honestly, I don't see him beating any of those guys. I don't see him beating Joshua Van. I don't see him beating Tatsuro Taira. I don't see him beating Manel Kopp, any of those guys. Like, it could happen, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna happen. I think the next fight for Lone is probably just gonna be Brandon Royval. And if not, then it's probably Brandon Royval versus Brandon Moreno next. Um, that would be a pretty good fight to see. So yeah, overall, Fight Night Mexico, pretty solid card. Decent finishes on the prelims, not too boring of a card. Nothing really crazy that stands out other than the fact that King Green got a freaking knockout in 2026 and dominated the fight. I mean, that was pretty crazy. But other than that, nothing else too crazy about this card. If you missed out, I mean, you really didn't miss out too much. Just go look at the clips on Twitter. Go look at all the knockouts and all that stuff, and there you go. Nothing crazy. So, overall, if I had to rate it out of 10, probably give it like solid 7, 7.5. I mean, it was okay. Nothing crazy, like I said. Like, it's just a UFC card. It was just a fight night. So, yeah. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I want to keep on posting more UFC videos. So, if you watch UFC, if you're interested in UFC, whatever the case may be, continue to watch our videos, and I promise you, it'll be awesome. I say "are" because even though I don't really have any subscribers right now, one day I'm hoping to, build up like a family in a way and have a whole bunch of fans and people who want to watch and talk about MMA and just have a nice community. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.